All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Secrets from the Saddle, All Things Cycling podcast with your host, Sylvie here. And, well, today is a coaching segment. I don't think I've done one of these in a little bit. We're going to be, since it's also November and I'm sitting here and I'm looking outside and it's snowing gently outside, I could sit here in front of my wood stove and just watch the snow fall like all day long. I don't know about you, but I love to sit in quietness, and this is what it is right now. It's quiet, and it's the snow's falling. Ah, I love the winter. Okay, I could sit and just love winter. I know that people love winter. I sit here in Canada and in Quebec, and it snows. It's not snowed seriously in many, many years, like since I was a kid, but love downhill skiing. I've told some of my friends I'm going to love getting into cross-country skiing, and you want to know why? Okay, so I got to share this with you guys. In a couple weeks, early December, my family and I are heading to Australia for 6 weeks. Yes, don't worry. I'm going to attempt to get enough episodes up and downloaded for you guys while I'm gone, but I am just super stoked. Like, my husband has a sister who lives in Perth. And so she's come down a couple times with the kids. And so we're just like, okay, we need to figure out when we can, financially, do this and, the right time for the kids and all that things. So we're just we were going to do it kind of during COVID. That kind of was our plan till like COVID happened. And then so we sat back and we paid off our house and now we decided this year that we just sort of sat down and put a financial plan together and accelerated our mortgage payments, paid that off. So our houses were like mortgage free and our cars are paid off until we have to fork over $50,000 for a new one. But in any case, we're going to be driving some old cars for a while, if you know what I mean. And then we just, this is it. We started buying our flights last February, and we're going to be heading over there, and we're going to see New Zealand. So if you want to follow the journey, go to my Facebook public page. So that's Sylvie Dow, cycling coach. That's where I'm going to be posting everything. It's like, what social platform do you put everything on? And, I guess I'm just deciding on that one. I've been like debating for years. Anyways, I digress, right? So like this last week was the first week that got back to training inside. And I've got a 20-week and a 16-week group of participants, or like I say, clients or friends and cyclists who've jumped into my winter training program, and just super stoked. I set some really big goals for myself. So, hello. Going back to Unbound, my first race is Barry-Roubaix. And if you're listening to this, it's sold out, by the way. It sold out in like less than a day. Like last year it sold out after Christmas, it was sold out. This year, like it went up and I didn't even get into the 100-miler before it was sold out. I had to do the 100, like the 62 miles. So I was just like, holy shit balls. I mean, I messaged my girlfriends. I go, you girls better get on board, like get your registration in now. Like it's no like waiting till after Christmas and deciding. And a couple of them didn't even make it. Like they're on waiting lists. Is that ridiculous? That is so fucking crazy. So So that's the first event. So thankfully, the next one is Unbound. I'm going back to Unbound. I'm really excited about heading back there. I've got to get over this mental block of being like, oh my God, what if I don't like, what if this time I go there and I have a mechanical or something like really audacious, like I have a bad crash. Like I never, knock on wood, man. But yeah, so just heading back there. So I have to get that out of my mental. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to fucking finish. Like I said, I was going to finish this year and I should have, but I didn't know what I didn't know. And, I was just following the rules. And so this time I'm just going to go and I don't care if I missed a cutoff, I'm just going to finish like that dude that finished in 48 hours. That's going to be me. I wonder if they gave him a finishing time. Or were they like, yeah, you finished, but you're still DNF'd. Sorry. Or you're on the scratch list. Anywho, so I'm already planning that, which is super cool and fun. So seeing a lot of friends that I made last year and then also going back to Ride to Conquer Cancer the week after. Figured out the way to do it. I'm bringing a team with me, so that's going to be super fun. In any case, so what are we talking about today, right? You're like, Sylvie, what are you going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about indoor training, 7 tips to avoid training burnout. Okay, so like I said, I know a bunch of us, my women's cycling club, everybody's super keen, got their bunch of the rules. First time got their trainers, first time on Swift. What do you do? How do you get everything going? This is fun. Then what? Okay, because like the thing is that a lot of us are kind of like, I think my husband's home. Like somebody's upstairs. It's so easy to overdo it. And I see it every year. So I've got 7 essential tips on how to avoid training burnout to go over with you. And, take them into consideration because sometimes it's just like, how do you avoid doing too much when if you're first time on, like, say, one of these training platforms like Swift, Training Road, Ruby, like you're just like, oh my God, there's so many shiny things on there. There's challenges, there's tours, there's group rides, there's workouts, there's all these things. How do you keep it real? And how do you do it without overdoing it? So we're going to talk about that. This is like, I talk about this with my training group. I talk about this with friends. I talk about this here. This actual episode is going to turn into a blog because I'm like adding a blog to my website. So go to sylviedau.ca. It's not there yet. It's still in rough, so I'm kind of reading off the notes, but I'm going to put it into a blog because it's, there's things we should all do. So let's start with number 1, setting goals. I talk about this all the time. I do it for myself, and it's setting your intentions for your winter training. So it's kind of like putting the blinders on. You know what I mean? It's like a horse. You put the blinders on so you can't see all the stuff that's happening on either side of you, because that's when you get into problems. Like your friends are messaging, "Hey, you want to jump online? Hey, there's a group ride. Hey, there's like Tour de Swift happening for 5 days, and you have to ride every day." You know what I mean? Like to avoid that kind of stuff. Sometimes you can fit it in if it fits into your training, right? So number 1 is setting your goals. So like I was just sharing with you some of my events for next year. So those are training goals. Those are something that's going to keep you coming back when you're demotivated. It also helps you with your training. So, so my first event is Barry-Roubaix, which is 100 kilometers. So you just kind of work backwards, right? And then the next one is 500 kilometers. So, what do I need to do now? It's November to slowly work my way up to my training. Okay. So, setting goals. So it's like, you got some group rides. What do you want to do next year? It could be a tour. It could be a gravel race. You might want to attempt to climb a certain local hill. Things like that could kind of bring purpose to your training sessions, as well as providing something to keep you focused and motivated. All right, number 2, use power variables through variety of rides. So the first thing you should do is figure out your heart rate or your power zones through an FTP or MAP test. Now, I know in Swift, you can go into the training area and you can find an FTP. There's a couple FTP tests you can do. Do one of those. That will set your FTP. So what you're going to want to do, and I'm going to lead you to my website because I have a couple of freebies there. One of them is like a worksheet for power zones. So when you do an FTP test, and this is something that you can write down for you, so don't, use Swift as a tracker. You're going to put your age, your resting heart rate. That's going to give you an actual numbers for your heart rate zones. And then when you do your FTP, you put your very last completed power output. So if it's 200, 180, 260, you put that in there, and then that will calculate your power zones for training. Okay. So that's a start. You do that to start. And then when you go off to do your training, you could set your workouts according to what you want to work out. So maybe you want to do zone 1 or zone 3. So you got your numbers between like 140 and 158. And so you set your FTP there's like a slider on the side. So you can change it depending on how you want to train. So setting that up, and then you having one intense day. So maybe it's a workout, so like an interval workout through Swift. I'm going to just use Swift as an example because that's what I use, or a Swift race. And then you have, for my clients, my group, we do Thursday night, which is dedicated to skills and technique through drills. So learning how to accelerate up a hill climbing, transition from seated to standing, pedal stroke efficiency, tempo rides, stuff like that. Then Saturday is a group ride. So add variety to your workouts. Number 3, you turn ERG mode off sometimes for specific sessions. So what ERG mode does is it's the ERG mode is like what you do when you want to take the power. It holds the power for your trainer, your smart trainer. So when you're doing an interval, it says like zone 3. It's going to apply zone 3 power to your bike. And same like zone 2. So it does all the applying of the power according to the workout or the ride. Now taking it off, which I highly recommend that you do, especially for intervals, requires you to have to put out the power output. So what do you think is better for you? You applying the power or the computer applying it to you? So anyways, so find that area where you could turn it on and off, and make sure that you turn it off when you're doing your intervals on occasion, if you know what I mean. So, all right, number 4 is get social. So it's not, I mean, you don't have to not get social anymore. Gone are the days where everybody's sitting in their basement watching Tour de France videos on repeat on the TV. Now you can join Zwift, Ruby, Trainer Road. You can get on Discord, Google chat room. There's so many ways that you can get social to make your training more fun. The downside of that is all the FOMO that comes with it of what your friends are doing. And then you seeing them on Swift or on Strava because they link their Swift to their Strava, and now they're like doing all these training rides and you weren't invited and things. Don't worry about it. Let it go. All right. Number 4, test your progress. So this is kind of what I was talking about with your FTP or your MAP test. So MAP is a maximum aerobic power test. MAP is what you will be put through if you go to actual training center like Training Peaks. Okay. I've personally find that MAP test is way truer numbers than FTP, but FTP is easier to facilitate. So track your progress. So our group is doing a 5 months of training. So we're testing this week. We're going to test after 2 months, and then we're going to test at the end of our training. So we're going to track our progress. And like I mentioned, I'm going to send you to sylviedau.ca. At the bottom, there are some free downloadables. One of them will be that free Excel spreadsheet. And there will be some examples in there. This is the one that I share in my program for everybody so that they can track their progress. It also, the formulas are there to create your heart rate and your watts, your zones, so that you can cut them out and keep them by your computer. All right, number 6. Keep your training intensity in check. So this is for all you guys who decide to do like three like races a week. Okay, you're not going to be able to do that for much longer, like for a long period of time, because you're going to be so tired. You have not left any time for recovery. So like I was mentioning, map out your training week. What days are going to be intense? What days are going to be working on some skills? What days are you going to group ride, right? You can't be 5 days a week. You have to add some strength training in there, right? Strength training, really good for building endurance, building up your endurance strength, your power strength, and also allowing your muscles to get stronger, of course, and so you don't fatigue as fast. All right, number 7. We're almost done. Setting up your training environment. So there's a podcast episode. Go check this one out. I've talked about your training setup, things that things you could do to make it more, easily, like just having everything around so you don't have to go searching. And for those of you who have an ironing board, grab that out. That is super handy. So a fan is a big thing. Like a floor fan that you can sort of have pointing up into your face. Ideally, if you can have something behind you, but that's not always available for a lot of us. I mean, that's where I work out, behind me. Unless I like hang it from the ceiling, it ain't going to happen. So I have a floor fan that kind of points up and oscillates in front of me, and that's just enough. I know some people who have like a couple fans. The thing is that you don't want to, like, overheating can hinder your performance in your training. So you want to have, your setup proper. You need to have some airflow, right? Also, having a table beside you where you could put your water, your food, Kleenex, maybe your gloves, your buff, a variety of things that are just going to make your ride more comfortable, and it's all there for you. So that's it. So these are the 7 things to think about to help you avoid overtraining this winter. So with that, I hope you enjoyed that. The blog will also have like a suggested weekly training sessions. Like, I'm just using the one I follow, and I find that works pretty well. It's 4 hours a week right now as I'm making the transition from not doing anything to doing stuff. It's just enough. And then I find that last year when I put this program together, I found that the first 2 months before Christmas were like everybody was still busy, like they're still on their fall schedule, right? And then you've just added 3 training plans that they need to put in to the schedule. And so people didn't really show up for some of them like as consistently as in the new year, when you have a new slate, a new schedule, and you're able to put everything into place, schedule your training in, and then you start scheduling around it. So that's why I'm like, don't stress, because I know that we're starting mid-fall. Things have already taken a place on your schedule, but secure those spots now in the new year till April so that you don't, and then everything goes around it. So I hope that helps. Love you all. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and YouTube. Plus, if you go to secretsfromthesaddlepodcast.ca, you can sign up to get a notification every time one of the episodes are uploaded weekly. And also, I'm just going to start creating a really helpful little newsletter. I know everybody gets tons of newsletters, but I promise not to make it long. It's going to be focusing on like cycling, nutrition, nature, travel, possibly some giveaways. So, and with that, have yourself an amazing day, and do make a note to check my website, sylviedao.ca, for that blog and that downloadable PDF. Not going to be PDF. It's going to be a downloadable Excel spreadsheet so that you can use it to populate with your own numbers from your tests. So I highly recommend that you do that and follow your own progress over the winter. Take care. Have a great one. Bye.